Helen, you here with Eyes on the Game, and I'm here in Huntington Beach at Ruka, being joined by the legend, the man himself, BJ Penn. Now you are making your anticipated return. I know this past year you were supposed to come and fight Dennis Seaver, then Ricardo Lamas. Now you are coming back January 15th to fight Yair Rodriguez. How's this camp going for your comeback?
This camp is going wonderful. Everything's right on schedule. I think it was really good for me to actually get my fights pushed back and train this last year and spar and really check where my head is. So I'm very excited. I'm glad I had this time to prepare for the fight, and yeah.
Now, with your last fight being in 2014 and your retirement then, what was... I know it takes, a lot to come back and be like, you know what, I want to train again. But was there a specific event that kind of triggered you to give you that desire to return?
You know what? As soon as my last fight and I retired and stuff, I was making sure to stay out of the gym because I didn't want to train because when I go in the gym, I always get good results and I always, then I'm going to be like, oh, I want to fight again. But I was just sitting down and watching I haven't been paying too much attention to the UFCs and stuff, but I was watching some of the fights and, Verdum was in there and Hunt was in there and those guys are older than me. And I was like, you know what excuse do I have? I'm 36, 37. These guys are 39, 40. What excuses do I have? So, from there I went in the gym, and that's kind of why I always want to stay out of the gym because I know I'll start doing good and I'll want to fight again. But once I seen all these guys and looking at their ages, I'm like, I'm not too old. Let's do this.
Yeah, and even most recently, looking at someone like Dan Henderson, who just fought for the middleweight title. And I know, BJ, you just told ESPN a couple days ago that you do want to fight for your third division title because you won the lightweight and the welterweight title. Was it like something where, when you saw Conor McGregor win, the two belts, did that kind of give you that extra motivation to want to potentially fight for the featherweight title?
No, that was always my game plan, actually. From the time I went to Greg Jackson's, and me and Greg Jackson talked about that, and he said, yeah, that should be your next goal, going for that third title. And that was my motivation from last year, January, when we were deciding to get in the ring with Dennis Seaver. And, it's definitely something that I want to do.
Now, Yair Rodriguez, he's 24 years old and in a current win streak. Was he kind of your ideal opponent to come back and return for? No,
I had no thoughts of ever fighting Yair Rodriguez. But somebody from Albuquerque, they're calling me and they're like, hey man, Yair Rodriguez, he really wants to fight you. He's trying to challenge you or something. I'm like, oh really? And then the UFC offered me the fight and I was like, okay, I guess he wants to fight me or whatever. But it's just, I think it's old school versus new school. And, it's just the fight that ended up getting put together. And, I'm, like I said, I don't like him or dislike him, but I'm not going to forget that he challenged me and he wanted this fight. So, I'll let him know that when we get into the ring, that hey, this is what you wanted.
So it sounds like it kind of lit a fire inside, right?
I don't fire and whatever. This is a tough sport. No matter if we get along or we don't get along or whatever it is. But yeah, no, the fire for me is I want to be the best. I want to be the champion. I want to go try to do all the goals that I had set. But right. Yair is a great test for us to come back in 2017. He said, I look at it seasonal. Maybe you did bad that season and you got this season. I think fans should look at it as more seasonal. Like, how did he do in 2016? How did he do in 2017? But we just got to go out there and get some wins under our belt.
Yeah, that is a good way to look at it. But also, speaking of the featherweight division, what's your thoughts on that right now? And also with Anthony Pettis and Max Holloway fighting for the interim belt, and now Jose Aldo moving up back to getting his title.
Yeah, I was surprised that that Conor did. I don't know what happened, if he let go of the belt or Dana stripped him. I don't really know. I wasn't in those meetings, but it is surprised that he dropped that belt, because I mean, when we were trying to get the 155 and the 170 pound belt, we were going to try to figure out how we could defend it, maybe one every 2 months or whatever it was. But he did that, so at the last minute they switched the fight for Max Holloway and Anthony Pettis, and that's another good fight. Those are two really good guys. And then Aldo, definitely. I mean, if Conor's going to leave the division, without a doubt, Aldo just took out Edgar, and yeah, Aldo's the man. So we'll just see how all this plays out and see what happens.
Do you think the UFC did the right thing about getting the belt back, since Conor didn't defend it for so long, or has never defended the featherweight title?
Yeah, I guess they did the right thing. I mean, I don't know. I thought they were trying to help Conor and do all these big things to try to build a star in the sport. But I don't know. At the end of the day, Dana guys know what because they have plans that we don't even know what's going on, for the middle of the year, for next year and everything. So we just got to sit back and wait and see.
Now, BJ, is it safe to say, because earlier you said, when you watch Werdum fight and Mark Hunt and even guys like Dan Henderson, like there's really no real age, limit anymore. Like people are able to push beyond their limits, and age is just a number. So is it kind of safe to say that you won't be retiring until you get that title shot?
Yeah, no doubt. I'm going to stick it out. I'm going to stay in it. I love to fight. I love the confrontation. I missed the confrontation. I was missing it, and I really wanted to get myself into something. And without a doubt, we're going to win this fight, and we're just going to keep the ball rolling.
And lastly, for you, BJ, about this camp and preparation ahead of January 15th, can you talk a little bit about the training and how, for example, Coach Greg Jackson and Jason Perillo have been helping you for this camp?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, me and Greg Jackson have been together for this whole last year. I mean, we've really molded my game back into, he's kind of like the grappling coach, so he kind of molded the grappling and wrestling and striking too. He's got a lot of different stuff, man. Greg, he's a master of all, and then me and Perillo just kind of got back to some basics and doing our footwork again and getting comfortable, getting our legs under ourselves, and really trying to punch hard and take the opponent out of there. So I really, really like where I am right now, and I'm very excited.
Well, we all are excited to see your highly anticipated return on January 15th at UFC on Fox. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, man. What's up? This is UFC champ and Hall of Famer BJ Penn, and you're watching Eyes on the Game with Helen.